A young girl named Dora introduces herself to me and then asks me what my name is twice and how old I am. Dora said that my age is big and guess what to me? And then she says it's story time, and her best friend Boots the monkey comes from a tree and gets excited to hear the story. First, they had to get it out from backpack, explaining that the kind of book Dora and Boots wanted to read was a big red book. A blue cursor hovers around different books of different colors and sizes while backpack keeps asking, "Is this a red book?" to me. First, it finds a big green book, then a small purple book, then a small red book, and then finally a big red book. After finding the big red book, Dora can now read it to Boots. Dora opens the book titled The Legend of the Big Red Chicken. The book is in Spanish, so Dora starts reading in an English translation for Boots. The story started with a little red chicken who lived on a big red hill. The little red chicken was very little, so that he could not run as fast as his friends and had to be very careful or he could get stepped on, which leads to him not like his own size. One night the little red chicken saw a group of stars shaped like a big chicken, and he made a wish on the stars that he would be big. When he woke up the next morning, he had grown to be a big chicken who was as big as a house. Big red chicken did his own chicken dance by flapping his arms and stamping his feet. The ending says that he is real. Boots then tells Dora that he wants to find Big Red Chicken. Dora does too. They then set out in search of the big red hill so that Boots can see the big red chicken. Boots wondered where the big red chicken was. Dora reminds Boots that they can find him on the big red hill. Dora and Boots check the map for directions on how to get there. Map tells me that they have to go over the bridge, through the gate to get to the big red hill to find the big red chicken. Dora and Boots set off, and then Boots scampered up a tree, retrieving a banana for himself and one for Dora. After, they hear a rustling sound nearby. It was a fox named Swiper. A very sneaky fox who's always trying to swipe people's stuff. And Dora and Boots didn't want Swiper to try to swipe their bananas. They kept a careful lookout. Dora and Boots spotted Swiper and said, "Swiper, no swiping!" 3 times. Swiper snapped his finger and exclaimed, "Oh man!" and ran away. After their banana snack, they threw the peels away in a trash bin. Boots still wondered if the big red chicken would be at the big red hill. Dora hoped so and asked me if I shared that hope. After that, they continued on until they reached the bridge. They were about to cross when they noticed some pieces were missing. The missing pieces of the bridge were down in the water. Suddenly, they see a toucan. Dora tells me that his name is Mr. Toucan, but she and I call him Senor Toucan. Boots tries to ask him in English, but he did not understand Senor Toucan meant que, as in what, in Spanish. Dora clarified for Boots that Senor Toucan only speaks Spanish. Dora asks in Spanish, and Senor Toucan replies "sí" for yes. Dora teaches me 2 Spanish words that will help him fix the puzzle bridge. The Spanish words were grande for big and pequeño for little. I tell Senor Toucan grande for the first hole, pequeño for the second hole, and grande for the third hole. After fixing the bridge, Dora and Boots slowly go across the bridge and thank Senor Toucan for fixing the puzzle bridge for them and say goodbye to Senor Toucan. Dora and Boots made it over the bridge. Now they had to go through the gate. Dora and Boots continued down the winding path until they reached the gate. Boots tried to open it, but it was locked. Dora and Boots stopped to think. They wondered what they should use to open the lock, and Boots knew the answer. A key. Sure enough, a key was hanging on a hook next to the gate. Dora picked it up and saw the lock had 4 points. She then counted the points on the key, and it had 4 as well. Boots wanted to try opening the lock. It was heavy, but he managed to get the key in the lock. Just as they were about to open the gate, they heard Swiper again. He snuck up behind them, swiped the key, and tossed it into a pile of other keys before running away. Boots started to worry, but Dora reassured him they'll find the key. All they knew was that the key was big and had 4 points. Dora and Boots decided to look through as many keys as they could, counting the points on each one until they found the right one. After multiple attempts, they finally found a key that had 4 points. They put the key into the lock. Boots struggled with it at first, but then it started turning slowly. After the key turned a full circle, the lock opened. Dora and Boots then went through the gate. So far, Dora and Boots went over the bridge and through the gate. They're getting closer to find out if the big red chicken was still at Big Red Hill. Dora and Boots held hands and started walking up the hill saying, "I hope he's there," many times. I joined in. After Dora and Boots got to the top, they did not see him. Dora had an idea. The big red chicken loves the chicken dance. Boots joins in, and together they start the chicken dance by flapping their arms. Dora encouraged me to join in by standing up for the next part. Now they had to stamp their feet and flap their arms at the same time. Then they sang and cluck, cluck, cluck. As they were doing the chicken dance, the big red hill starts to move. Dora and Boots realized the big red hill was not just a hill, it was actually the big red chicken. They soon realized it's not just a story and that the big red chicken is indeed real. Dora and Boots introduced themselves to the big red chicken. Boots remembered that he saw him in the big red book. Big red chicken was glad to meet Dora and Boots. That was how Dora and Boots went to find the big red chicken.